Hi everyone, my name is Oladoyin, and today we will be talking about underrepresentation in media, specifically for ethnic minorities. This is a really important topic because you would think that in 2020, our film and TV would be as diverse as our country is, but that is not the case. Although we have made significant progress since the olden days, aka the 90s and before, we still see a very, very poor level of representation with both ethnic minorities and women, not only in the type of people that are casted, but also in the type of stories that are being told. And behind the camera, we also see that same poor level of representation with the people who are writing the stories and making the decisions about which stories get told. When I worked at an elementary school, I would teach them different writing exercises, and I would just play around with the characters that I was thinking of at the time. And on my first or second week there, one of the girls had, an afro that came out unexpectedly when it was pouring raining outside, and she was so upset because she had straightened it in the morning and the boys were making fun of her, etc. And 6 months later, when she had completely forgot about the incident, she told me she really loved my main character that had an afro on her head, and she thought that it was like a foxy look and she really wanted to rock it. And even when I tried to remind her of that incident, she literally couldn't even remember what I was talking about. What you see in the content you consume has the power of how you see yourself and also how other people might see you. You notice that Asians are always, depicted as really smart or really nerdy, and Latino women are always depicted as overly sexual, and Black men are always depicted as, or often depicted as very aggressive. And so while it didn't click to me while I was a kid, I was still soaking all of that in like a sponge, because that's both the beauty and the danger of childhood development years. You take everything in without really filtering it, without really asking questions, and those things get planted as seeds in our unconscious bias. Sometimes I look back and I'm watching films from like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and I'm like, I can't believe they said that. I can't believe I watched that and I didn't notice that they said that. With children's books in particular, you're more likely to see the main character being an animal than you are to see a person of color. So it's not likely that you're going to see a children's book with a Black male as a gangbanger, but it is unlikely that you'll see a children's book with a Black boy in it. So we have the same underrepresentation issues, but it's manifesting different ways from TV or from the screen to print content. So if you remember, Clueless didn't quite do such a good job, in my opinion. Cher's best friend, played by Stacey Dash, even though she is a Black woman growing up in the 90s as a teenager, there wasn't much that really depicted the idiosyncrasies of her experience as a Black woman in a predominantly white school in Beverly Hills. And I'm a Black woman who has gone to a couple of predominantly white schools, and I can tell you that my experience is very peculiar to my white classmates. And so I expect that in 2020, any show that is depicting such an experience should lace in those nuances. It only makes the narrative richer. It only makes the show more interesting to watch. Even though I grew up in this country, my family immigrated to America when I was 5 years old, I can say that I never felt American. Everything that I consumed in mainstream print and screen was very white and very, very homogenous. And so I would always look at this content that I was consuming, like, this content is great. I love it. I laugh, I cry, I engage with it, but it looks nothing like my life. So if this is American, then I must not be American. I never was able to really draw similarities in just the little things, like the things that I saw people eating, the way that I saw them talking, the way that families interacted on TV looked very different from all of the ways that I lived my life. And so because of that, I grew up for at least 15 years thinking and saying, I'm not American, I just live here. I'm not American, I just grew up here. They were two separate, mutually exclusive statements to me. And I think that's pretty dangerous. And I wonder how many other children are still growing up thinking that.